Hello, and welcome to our third meeting covering assistance animals. During this meeting, we'll be discussing the different types of assistance animals, what each of their various duties are, and how that relates to us as the convention. There are three primary types of assistance animals recognized in the United States. These are ESAs, or emotional support animals, therapy dogs, and service animals. An emotional support animal helps to assist a disabled handler by providing companionship or emotional support in some way. This is not limited to any particular species of animal. It can be a cat, a dog, a hamster, a guinea pig, a fish, a rabbit, any animal. Emotional support animals are given access to non-pet friendly housing via the Fair Housing Act. They do not have public access rights. These animals provide support to the disabled handler by providing emotional support in ways such as just their presence can be comforting. It can help give their disabled handler the encouragement that they need to just get out of bed in the day. Some people use the emotional support animal to help them with dietary needs. They might have an ESA that has a similar diet to what they themselves are restricted to. And so by providing their emotional support animal with that diet, they feel a little bit less alone. Sometimes even just being able to watch the fish swimming in their tanks can help be therapeutic and provide comfort to somebody. Because they are specifically for companionship, comfort, and emotional support, this is why they do not have public access rights. There's also no specific training required for ESAs. A therapy dog is a dog that has been specifically trained and certified by an accredited organization to provide comfort to those in places such as retirement homes, hospitals, schools, or areas that have been recently affected by a disaster. They do not have public access rights. However, they are allowed in non pet friendly areas by explicit invitation of the establishment. So, for example, somebody could have a trained and certified therapy dog, and they could be invited by a hospital to bring their therapy dog into the hospital to greet patients. However, the handler could not just bring the therapy dog into the hospital on any random day of their own accord. These dogs bring comfort to those in less than ideal situations and just give them a little bit of peace. Service animals are most commonly a dog. However, the Americans with Disabilities Act also recognizes miniature horses as a service animal option. They are task trained to mitigate the disability of a single disabled person. They can be trained by a program or by an individual. There is no federally recognized certification or registration for service animals. They're able to enter non pet friendly establishments with their disabled handler, and they are able to live in non pet friendly housing. What does all of this mean for the convention? At EvilleCon, we only welcome service animals into the convention space, meaning we do not welcome in emotional support animals and we do not invite therapy dogs out to our organization. There are two questions that may be asked of anyone who is bringing a service animal into the convention center. Typically, this would be asked at the registration or pre-registration table. The first question is is this a service animal task trained to mitigate your disability? The second question is, what is a task this animal has been trained in order to mitigate your disability? Specifically, that second question is not asking the handler what their disability is, simply what is a task that their service animal is trained on. Some common examples of tasks include medical alert and response, item retrieval, guide work, opening or closing doors, clearing a room before the handler goes in. They could be trained in providing deep pressure therapy. They can be trained in providing mobility assistance. If somebody says that a task that their service animal is trained in is companionship, emotional support, or protection, under the Americans with Disabilities Act, these are not considered to be tasks. While it can be emotionally supportive or a great companionship to have a service animal, that is not a primary task that they are trained in, merely a side bonus of their presence, and therefore does not constitute a task. What if I see something sketchy? If you see a service animal acting aggressively in any way, urinating or defecating indoors, or in general, the handler is not maintaining proper control of their service animal, then they may be asked to remove the service animal from the establishment. If somebody were to say that they have a certificate or an identification card of some kind proving that their animal is a service animal, we can let them know that there is no ADA supported service animal registration or certification. Most often, these websites can be considered more akin to a scam because a lot of people may not know that these are not valid forms of proof, so to say, of having a service animal, and therefore they'll spend money for something that has no federal backing. A common example of this is the all favorite service Nutella, where somebody went to one of these service animal registration websites and registered a jar of Nutella as though it were a service dog. And then they were sent a little vest and a little identification badge identifying their jar of Nutella as a certified service dog. And that brings us to the end of our presentation over assistance animals. I thank you for listening, and I can't wait to have an amazing weekend with you.